Hello, this is Benjamin John Pope, and today we're going to learn animate according to the intermediate features. Basically, it's the basics 2, and here we go. So in the document settings, there is a way of changing the size of your canvas. This is your width and this is your height. For a setting of a original video, it would be 1024 width and 768. I think it's 768, and that was the original shape and size of a TV. In the top right hand corner there is zoom in and zoom out, or show all, and you can go as tiny as you want, down to 4%, or as large as you want, it's 200%. I normally have it at 50% or 100%. Now, with text and boxes and alignment, there is a little magnet here that allows you to snap to edge. So you select it and it will snap to the edge. It will just snap it so it's in line. It like reinforces the alignment, and that button is here and that button there is the same. Down to your timeline, this little box, add layers, that box is to delete. This one is so you can make all of them invisible, and then you can turn individual ones off, and you can also lock the layers. So that's add layer, that's add folder, that's delete folder or layer, and the I and the lock is make invisible or visible, and the lock locks the layer so you can select only that one layer or the layers that are unlocked. So basically the lock stops you from moving or selecting and doing anything to the layer that is locked. It's impossible to use that layer. So with a symbol, and you need to write this down, it's FN and F8, the hotkey, and then you can convert to symbol. You give it a name and select movie clip, button or graphic. Obviously movie clip is the most versatile because it's the same as graphic, but then it can be animated, and button is to change it into a button. So let's just do this and call it square, and then press OK. Now it is a symbol. If you go inside the symbol, it has its own separate layer and timeline. So the hotkey is FN and F8, or you go to modify, convert to symbol, and it says the hotkey there. And if you've gone through the options at the top here, file, edit, view, insert, modify text, etc., all of these, the ones that have button control at the end of it, they are the hotkeys. So you press Control and N to make a new document, for example, or you press F8 to make a symbol, and on the file you've got new document, new from template, open document, open recent. All of them are easy to be explained, and the next tutorial will teach you all about this top section. I want to talk to you a little bit about good work ethic, and that is to rename layers. So layer 1, for example, on this project will be square. Layer 2 could be background. Layer 3 could be, for example, character. Layer 4 could be actions. The reason I've said actions is because if you're doing excuse me, if you're doing dynamic work, there will be a need for code, and it's best to keep it on the one layer. So I've talked about most other things that you need to use. I want to go and talk about other tools that I haven't taught you about. The T is a text tool. Text. With a text tool, you can choose the size over in the properties again. On my workspace it's to the right, and you can space here with VA in between the text. So the distance from the T and the E and X and T, in between them you can spread them out or mix them together. Now there's a really cool thing you can do, and I have to teach you, it's brilliant. It's Control and B for break apart, and you break it apart twice, and then it's about vector. It is about the exact same as what a rectangle would be, but as your text, and you can make really good effective pieces of text just like doing any sort of manipulation of the vector tool, like that, just as an example. And that, to do that, you write text with the text tool, and then you select it and press break apart, which is FN and FB. No, Control and B. Sorry about that, it's Control and B. And it breaks it apart. So basically I've gone over some more features, and I thought I would talk one more feature, and that's about swatches. So your colour palette here, if you make a colour that isn't defined, for example a linear, that isn't defined in your fill palette here, because your fill palette is the same as this, but it's when all these swatches appear. If you select one, a rectangle or colour, say linear gradient, and make a really nice mixture that you want to keep, it's easy to keep it. All you do is say add to swatches, which is there. Now I'll double check it, and there you go, there's my swatch. So that swatch there wasn't there. Just to make you know what happens, there's another different swatch, add to swatches, and sure enough that swatch is there. that's how you collect different swatches, different color arrangements, etc. And now I'm going to talk to you about I'm going to keep all of these options for the next tutorial, and I think that is basically it. But what I was going to do is write down what I said. Break apart equals break apart equals Control and B, and that breaks text to vector. And I also talked about how you have to use F8 to convert to symbol, and with most computers now it's hold down Fn, then press and that was the hotkeys I want you to remember. And that's a quick tutorial that taught you decent, exciting stuff, and thank you for listening.